Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into game number 2 of this best 3 series between Legacy as well as AV. And now things are really going to be spiced up with AV on the blue side.
Yeah, exactly right. All 3 bans going from Legacy for an unauthorized pause.
Didn't get the blue cheese inside.
What the heck does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Someone tweeted Swanlaw and let him know what the blue cheese means.
Please.
Tally as well as Carmen give him a bit of a fist bump there. Not quite sure what they were going to try and do there. They've playing Knuckles, apparently, being told from everyone in production as well as Hingers off to my side.
Yeah, exactly right. That's why we're looking over there. Hingers is like, they're doing this. I'm like, what?
I have no idea what that is, but they're playing a game of sorts, I've been told.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to play?
What?
So you put your hand here.
Okay.
And then I hit you, and then you have to move your hand in time. But if you flinch, I get to hit you for free.
Okay.
What? You suck at this game. Oh my goodness gracious!
Don't understand.
Did it play that as a kid?
No. No, I did not play that as a kid. We're getting the Knuckles game that I knew of as a kid was where you punch each other's knuckles harder until someone stops playing.
Oh, really? The other game that I used to play as a kid is let's see who can hit the softest.
No, I don't want to play that.
Do you want to go first?
No, I don't want to play that game with you. I know exactly what you're trying to do here, Swan. We're going to champion select between AV as well as Legacy. As we mentioned, Legacy.
It appears you've activated my trap, Mr. Bot, says Tally, spinning around in his chair. Where's his cat? Instead, just got a heat
hand
pack
warmer instead.
Yeah. Of course, all 3 bans gone means that you would expect the bans to not really change from AV because that's obviously what they think is priority.
Yep.
But they will leave the Zac open, you would have to think now, Fish. Be able to take that one away from themselves. So I expect an Elise ban here, potentially. Maybe yeah, Cupcake not really known for his thresh. So I'm going to say Elise ban.
Should be an Elise ban coming out from AV. Curious to see what that final ban is going to be and what Legacy pick in response to Zac, because you expect Zac to be the final.
Nidalee is the big counter pick.
Never thought of Carmen to be a big Nidalee player.
That's true. Maybe would have hot subbed in their other jungler.
Gragas is the ban of choice coming out from AV.
Makes sense, because when Zac's flying in, Gragas is able to interrupt it with the body slam. You know, maybe force him back away with that big ultimate. We'll see whether it actually impacts Legacy, because first round bans are very important, you know, for picking up priority champions and being able to deny away things you don't want to play against. But really, it's the second round bans that I find most impactful at the moment. Because that's where you get your counter picks set up, set up your solo lane priority, all those good things. So
it's not as bad as from what we saw from Abyss.
When you just don't have 5 bans?
When you
obviously. Having nothing is worse than having something. I agree with you. You're a genius.
Having nothing's worse than... Yeah, it is.
Better
actually.
than having something. What the... No, what? I don't know.
You were right the first time.
Yeah, I was.
Zac
Don't
is
make
going to
me
be
down
the first.
myself.
Zac is going to be the first pick coming out from AV. Legacy sticking to their guns. They pick up Varus as their first pick. I'm curious to see what comes up next, because just with 3 bans on the table, there's lots of picks they could go for here. No, Carbon, you are not picking Warwick.
Warwick. Nah, Warwick, yep, agreed. That is actually the League of Legends pronunciation of the name. I don't know why we pronounce it, spelt a name the way that a name has been used for generation, then completely changed how you pronounce it. But, you know, that is the case.
Unlucky. It's like Shaco and Shako.
Don't want to talk about it.
It's going to be the lock-in for Legacy.
Actually,
again.
that's actually the only name that tilts me in the whole of League of Legends.
Which version?
Shaco.
Shaco?
Yes.
That's great. That's
His name is obviously Shaco.
Well, he is Shaco from now on. As Thresh is going to be lock-in for AV. You can see Jake giving a nice old nod to the camera. He is excited to be playing this champion, it seems.
So lots of priority picks that we see around the world right now being taken by the AV lineup. Zac very much a permaban, but Thresh is also joining him in a lot of the regions around the world. Renekton is something that has great priority in the top lane.
The series showed prowess in this champion when he first joined the OPL. Excited to see how he's going to play this champion heading into Legacy this game. Legacy, they don't seem phased by the lack of bans at all. Like, well,
just pick the same comp.
Let's just play the same team composition that we played in game 1 and hope it works.
Yeah, really, they actually don't have to change anything. They could, they take the cannon top lane.
The eyes never lie, Spawn.
I don't even know what that means. That's one of the sayings in League of Legends that I get genuinely confused about.
Or don't make the Yeti angry.
Well, no, that's very obvious, Fish.
He's going to throw a snowball at you if he's angry.
Or he might run around slapping you.
Which is why I find it a little bit confusing. But Cannon has picked up for Legacy, most likely in the top lane for Tally. And Legacy do have their final 2 bans to work with in this game. So Syndra is the first ban targeted towards Triple. Oriana actually taken off the table.
By Triple, yeah, that's a little bit strange. Maybe potentially knows he has to blind pick into Claire, doesn't want to give him an easy way out. At the same time, definitely has been one of Triple's best champions. Maybe means he's looking for an assassin fish.
Potentially. Ashe is the ban of choice from Legacy, denying the other high utility AD carry from Blinky.
I mean, I don't really know if they lack engage, so don't know if Ashe is the best ban here. Taking away the Karma denies to protect the AD carry composition.
Yep.
Lulu, of course, the other supportive mid laner that could do it. Don't know if Claire's a big Lulu fan, however.
And you can always go back towards Victor. He's not so much a support, but has that upfront burst damage and the zone control to protect the AD carry almost. Kind of like what you do with Jax, you just have so many powerhouses that you protect the AD carry by taking a lot of pressure away from them. They do pick up Braum though, so Lost and Cupcake will play the Braum lane in the bottom lane. Lucian seems to be the pick of choice of Blinky. You can go towards the Caitlyn if he chooses to do so.
I mean, the Wife Steal bottom lane's always been very strong. Callista Thresh is one of my favorite lanes, and we get neither of those. We just get a boring Caitlyn pick. So see whether we get IE, Rapid Fire Cannon, as well as Static Shiv all purchased.
Potentially.
Certainly becoming more popular as Hurricane is moving down the priority.
Caitlyn is still one of those champions that does do fairly well with the new Hurricane, or even better than she did before, because now the bolts deal more damage.
But they don't stack up headshots. The whole point of having it. No armor penetration.
No headshots.
Stuff new Hurricane on Caitlyn. It sucks. Everyone at home, if you're playing Caitlyn, BF Sword, Pickaxe, Rapid Fire Cannon, Infinity Edge, Static Shiv. Don't listen to Fish.
Or Hurricane.
Don't build Hurricane.
Hurricane. Triple's going to be picking up Talia heading into the mid lane. So, interesting team comp from AV. It seems like they've picked up the Thresh as well as Zac with the lack of bans from Legacy. Renekton's one of them as well, which is normally banned under the second ban rotation, so prioritizing that. Legacy have picked up Cassiopeia as their final pick heading into the mid lane.
Yeah, and Cassiopeia gives a different kind of protection. It means that if people are diving onto your AD carry, as you know, Thresh, Zac, Renekton like to do, able to stun them up and allow Lost to unload in this game. So it'll be interesting to see whether Claire is able to peel for Lost, because this is a very dive-heavy composition. Also has some pretty good consistent damage as well as initiation. So good round coming out from AV. Of course, you expect that when Legacy can't have any bans themselves, but at the same time, they certainly do still have a good composition. 3 pushing lanes, a lot of ability to be able to get early advantages. So interested to see if Carbon can make Sybil pay for some early aggression again.
Big thing for me with Legacy's team comp is the fact that, yes, they don't have as much protect the AD carry with shields and heals, but every single champion that is on this team has big zone control. Braum, Varus, Cassiopeia, Nunu, Talion, Cannon all have big ultimates that can create that zone control for Lost.
Do you know how Miasma works with Zac ultimate?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Because I know how it works with the jump. Obviously, you can't jump. But I don't know whether if you ulti as Zac, can you go away from the Miasma? That would be interesting.
I'm assuming you can't. This game will probably tell us if you can.
Once again, I don't know why you're looking back at me. I was the one that raised the question in the first place.
It's the color caster. You should know these things.
Yeah, well, you just don't know what you don't know.
What?
Well, that is the truth.
It's true, but it's just so... it's like, never mind. I don't know what the word for it is, and I don't know what I don't know, apparently. But for now, let's check in with Higgers, who's standing by with someone who should know something, which is the coach for AV, Pinch.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Pinch, and you guys got the Zac, so you've got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, look, Sybil's been playing Zac for a long time before it was cool, so we're very comfortable to play it. Yeah.
He's an original Zac hipster.
Absolutely.
Did it affect your ability to draft with Legacy losing those 3 bans? Because what it means is you get to pick whatever you want, but at the same time, just more champions on the field for them to pick as well.
Yeah, that's right. So basically we have to have a nice balance of being able to pick the OPs ourselves, take as many away from the opponent as we can. So it's a bit of a curveball. I think we dealt with it okay. Could have been better, but I'm very happy that we got Zac. Sybil's signature champion, so we can do really well.
Very quickly, what do you think of the win conditions of your comp are?
Sure, so we have to just play around the AD cannon. We have Talia who can roam into side lanes, deal with that later on in the game. Zach and Renekton have a lot of kill pressure on it early, so just play around the cannon and we should win team fights.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck in the game, and thank you for speaking to us.
Awesome, thanks.
Lots of respect towards the cannon pick picked up by Legacy in the top lane. Pinch saying that they have to play around it and move into team fights in order to pick up a victory here today.
And the reason you have to play around Kennen is because he is so damn frustrating if he gets even or ahead in lane. And when you early pick something like a Renekton, sure, you have good kill threat. I agree with Pinch, especially if any of the CC from Zac hits. But at the same time, you know eventually they're going to be able to pick up things like the Frozen Mallet, and there is just absolutely nothing Series is going to be able to do about it in the split push.
Pretty difficult matchup for Renekton as it is. He really has to get the jump on towards Kennen nice and early. It is possible, but difficult. And we saw early on in this match, Claire trying to disrupt the Raptor start coming out from Sybil, but Triple is there to defend the camp as well as make sure Sybil gets a nice and early start.
And one of the reasons we love Talia so much is her ability to early shove. You see that it certainly has not changed. Getting into Cassiopeia nice and early, but still the blind invade comes out of Carbon. We'll be able to take away the blue buff as well as potentially a Gromp here depending on how long he wants to stick around. Not using Smite means that I think he's going to go for the Gromp. Top side of the jungle missing.
Ooh. And Sybil has not predicted this. He's going to blast Cone over now. Finds his... Will still know his blue is missing. Gromp's been taken away.
They're calling Talia over, they're calling Renekton down, but really the damage has been done. Claire even forces Talia away. And now, Series is actually in some trouble.
Takes quite a bit of damage, slices and dices away.
Telling you, this AD, Nunu, in the early game is actually really smart.
I agree.
If anyone knows how to play Nunu, it is the big boss Cabron.
Legacy in the bottom lane though, you can see Lost and Cupcake playing very safe against Blinky and Jake. It is a Caitlyn Thresh lane that is very aggressive. Sybil is now going to try and look to save if he can take the blue buff. So away from Carbon. Carbon is not close to this buff. Even if he does get it here, he has delayed a lot of Sybil's time.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, Sybil had to walk halfway across the map to his top side of the jungle, and then back all the way to the bottom side of the map to try and get Carbon. He also, yeah, smites it away because he saw Carbon. That's a smart move. No, he didn't smite it. He just did a lot of burst damage that I didn't expect. And now actually goes aggressive.
Good flash from Carbon, gets away from Sybil very early.
I mean, there were two members right behind Sybil there.
Smart move.
Death Sentence Flay certainly would have been enough CC with whatever Sybil was going to be able to provide with the long arms.
Claire in this mid lane is trying to control Triple at the moment as Carbon and Sybil are fighting again. It's going to consume Gromp for a little bit of help, but Gromp's not very happy with Carbon at the moment. So wants to be left alone.
Certainly does. Carbon doesn't have Smite, so Sybil can just keep walking in here and pushing him away. Carbon does the smart thing. He just walks towards his wolf camp. At the same time, Sybil, this might be another overstay, my friend.
Oh, Sybil getting collapsed upon. Gromp does a lot of damage in his first few auto attacks. Carbon's going to smite Gromp, get some health back. Consume as well. The Ignite is ticking. Death Sentence is blocked by Cupcake though. Sybil flashes forward, slams them together and picks up first blood. Where are the AD carries in this? Lost and Blinky not rotating with this
they
fight.
certainly aren't. And all of a sudden, everyone's flashing on top of Carbon. You can see he was not too happy with how that one turned out. Really nice mechanics from Sybil, able to get the slam together off of Cupcake. Thought Carbon might have been able to get out of range, but certainly wasn't the case. All of a sudden, first blood again for the AV jungler, and all these shenanigans actually means the Zac gets slightly ahead pick.
And just as it looked like Carbon was going to do the right thing by backing off, heading to the wall, was live to find another day, just trade evenly. Goes for the risky, greedy play.
And the thing that really surprised me there is the Cell Division passive meant that Cupcake really did not want to burn Ignite to kill Sybil. And Sybil was able to step over 3 blobs and actually get health back, where I think he would have fallen into Cell Division if Cupcake ignited, and then Carbon would have been able to walk away from that. So the hesitancy to use that summoner spell costs him big. At the same time, Tally is more than making up for it with the fact that he is 20 CS up. When you only have 20 CS, that's a pretty big deal.
Whew.
And in the mid lane, it's also the Cassiopeia winning. So looking good so far, although Tally...
Good play from Series. He can flash for that. Tally forced the flash early, actually.
Yeah, auto attack cooldown wasn't reset, so no point Series flashing for it. Instead, Wave has been stacked up. He's on Tally's side of the lane, so it will push back to Series. He might even be able to walk back for this one pit.
Let's see what both top laners decide to do. Kennen has a really big level 6 teleport play available. Will Lightning Rush back to lane? Seems like Series going to do the exact same thing and dice his way into the top side of the map.
I mean, Tally can walk back to this lane because he's got such a big advantage in creep score. Series will walk back because it's actually just a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And bottom lane, there is a ward behind Lost and Cupcake right now.
Be careful.
Although somehow Blinky and Jake no longer have summer spells. Jake's was from the Scuffle in the jungle, but Blinky using heal. Don't actually know where that was from.
They seem like they want to send their bottom lane back to base. Claire's doing just fine in this mid lane. He's already picked up his tier in the mid lane. Just farming up against
Wonder if
triple.
we're going to see Morellonomicon second or something like a Banshee's Veil, or whether we see another Rod of Ages Cassiopeia. Certainly makes her more powerful as the game goes on, gives her a bigger shield from that Seraph's Embrace that she's going to be able to pick up.
Yep.
But not my favorite item on Cassio. I think she's better with early game power. As Sybil jumped over the wall, he's in some trouble. Although now they actually have the Thresh heading in as well as the ability to clear ult. That's weird that they didn't pull the trigger on it.
They don't. Sybil does take quite a bit of damage from the initial damage from Cassiopeia's Twin Fangs.
Still has Cell Division available. I don't think he would have fallen down.
They decide not to pull the trigger and doesn't find another save. Claire, in the meantime, is going to continue pounding away at triple every time he steps on the poison, tries to throw out the Twin Fang. But everyone is just okay at the moment. Series jumping in for some more engage and harass over towards Tally. This lane is slowly starting to fall back into his favor.
I mean, it really shouldn't be, though. Tally's got boots too, should be able to keep good spacing between himself and Renekton. Also, Ninja Tabbies is one of the best boots pick up against further of battle. Just blocks it out. But at the same time, Renekton being able to get on top of him a couple of times means that the creep score is back within 10. So nice job from Series to recover this lane.
Blinky is going to put a ward over the wall. Jake finds a wild Nunu that he didn't expect to find.
That's actually pretty big because all of a sudden, I mean, Raptor Camp is available, Red Buff is available, they know Carbon wants to recall, so potentially Zac can race him towards that side of the map. Blue Buff also up, so they know that that isn't going to be contested right now. They have some time before Nunu gets back towards the top side. And they're also picking out the fact they want to dive. Still diving Kennen that has double defensive items, I feel is a stretch. But we'll see if that is actually what they go for.
Especially when he's level 6. It's going to be difficult to dive Kennen anyway.
Lightning Rush gives him resistances already.
Claire's fallen behind the top side of the map here.
Claire.
In terms of experience. Sorry, in the mid lane. Very slightly though, has ticked over to level 8, but we saw this with level 7 as well. Zac is still moving towards top side of the map, but so is Triple. This is going to be a 3-man down to Kennen, I think.
They have to know this is coming. I mean, he's left lane. There goes the wall. Doesn't have ultimate.
Ooh, gets stuck in it. Kali doesn't flash over the wall. Does not have flash, as you mentioned. Can't lock down Series. He was so close to getting behind that one with 3 members bottom. Let's see what Legacy decide to do next.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky out of Tally, but he probably should have responded sooner. Instead, 4-man going to be going down into the bottom lane. See that they just start their recalls. They a little bit of aggression.
Dragon, I guess. So Legacy going to do? They sack a kill top lane as well as their turret. Go for an Ocean Dragon. They weren't ready for that play made by AV.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly in the favor of AV right now. Better yet, I mean, Claire going to have to eventually go back to base because he just doesn't have all that much mana left available. So, nicely done. Top lane turret has survived for now, but will fall down.
And with that play, Series is now even in CS and a kill over Tally.
Which is huge. I mean, when you're 23 CS up, 45 to 22, falling back down at only 70 CS is quite a big deal.
Claire not able to get the last hit on that blue buff. Cole's able to bring it back for him. And it looked like Legacy were going to try and force bottom, which in my opinion was looking like to be a smart thing to do. Decided to pull off even though there were no wards inside of the jungle to spot the rotation from Claire and Carbon.
I mean, at the same time, I don't think Cupcake had level 6. And apart from, what, a Flash Nunu snowball, there wasn't really all that many ways to dive the turret and make it work. They could have just backed off quite safely. At the same time, Renekton had teleport, so we would have been able to join down there.
They do have deep wards on the bottom side of the map. They are spotting out Thresh moving into the jungle. Teleport is available for Tally if he wants to get behind the bottom lane, but Carbon, again, nowhere to be found on this Nunu.
Look at all the vision Legacy have in the bottom side of Avant's map. Going to be able to know where Zach is at every stage of his jungle clear right now. Zach has done a good job of keeping up an experience, actually is ahead right now.
Both lands. Okay, taking quite a bit of damage there. Stepping on trap, eating a hook in the play. And now Zach is in the bottom lane as well for AV.
Yeah, I mean, this is a potential play right now because they can walk into the blue. Zach can get a ward in behind them. And they can actually burn the teleport for Renekton. It doesn't look like they want it. Instead, they're going to go towards mid lane, which is a strange decision. Felt like that could have been the force they were looking for.
Less AV are about 1,500 gold ahead of Legacy, or about 200, I should say. Triple's doing just fine in this mid lane. He's about 20 CS behind Claire, though, who has been happily stuck in this mid lane, farming it out. On the side of the map, Cupcake and Lost. Doing well against Blinky at the moment, but this Caitlyn lane will just constantly shove them in.
Yeah, Caitlyn's range just starts to become a little bit too much to handle at this stage of the game. You can see they want in on Claire.
Sybil's looking for it. Not going to be able to get the second auto attack. Use the ultimate and the flash from Claire there. I don't think it was required, but being safe. Carbon's found himself in a sticky spot against Series. Weaver's wall comes through for triple. Can he get the shove back? Doesn't look like it. Carbon a little bit too fast.
They love chasing Nunu, this team. Very frustrating. They're still going.
Sybil forcing a flash. Gets the rubber hands. Doesn't get the second auto attack, though.
I mean, eventually they got the flash out of Carbon, so the persistence in the play was worthwhile. But still 26 CS in the mid lane as Triple loses a whole nother creep wave. And it's going to be one more time the Cassiopeia heading down. Will be spotted on a ward now, so if they want to go, they need to go.
And they're looking to try and get that engage going. Cupcake jumping forward. Can't find the Winter's Bite.
I mean, they didn't have ulti out of Lost, so there's no real good flash engage. Flash Brawl multi. It's a little bit more telegraphed. Jake probably could have just lanterned out of that. But still, good proactive roams coming out of Claire. Now starting to use that CS advantage. Looks like he is going to go towards Banshee's Veil as opposed to the Rod of Ages.
Seems like the choice for Claire. Turns to the mid lane and continues farming, still holding on to a CS lead over Triple, who has been all over the top side of the map at the moment.
They're coming in top now onto the Renekton.
They're going for a fight here. Renekton's popped Dominus. He's more than happy to go 2-on-1 in these situations. He's going to get a lot of fury. Flashes away from Absolute Zero. Not getting stun locked yet. Goes back in. We'll have his stun back up shortly. Tally trying to space as much as he can. Series going around. There's the ultimate. Carbon's going to fall though. And Series might just be able to go for a 2-on-1 here, especially with Triple coming through the backside.
Yeah, really nicely done from Series. Flashes early. Make sure he gets out of all of the damage of Carbon's ult. That would have been enough to tip the fight over the edge. Also prioritizes the person that has absolutely no armor at this stage of the game. Carbon, a lot of HP, but able to blow him up. So goes 1v2. And this is starting to become scary for the Legacy lineup because, you know, sure they have a lot of damage in the late game, but certainly is reflected on AV, who has a much bigger front line.
And that's even showing in the bottom lane where Blade the Rune King is picked up by Lost. Not a very expensive item in comparison to the Infinity Edge by Blinky. First purchase on Caitlyn. That is scary.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll see whether, you know, he does go towards a Runar's Hurricane or if he goes for a little bit of a different build. Sure. On the current
17
line, live patch. So still argument to be made for both.
They're still farming in this mid lane. Farming a Storm actually, but they've got a Crocodile to deal with who has a Black Cleaver at the moment. Another champion who has benefited from the Gargoyle Stoneplate. It's able to pick up Titanic Hydra next, get Gargoyles going for a full spell rotation, and with the Dominus active, doubles his health, waits for a second cooldown to come up. Shreds through the back line.
Certainly does. And the thing about Renekton is the item changes have definitely made him a little bit better at staying relevant. Cupcake was looking for Triple in the middle lane. That's going to dissipate. Second Dragon up in 15 seconds, so that's why Legacy's trying so hard to get control over that area.
Just shove back to Triple. Triple's fairly low. Sybil wants to go for this. Jumps in. Locks down Cupcake with one rubber hand. Doesn't go for the second on anyone else.
I mean, this is the annoying thing about Zach is that right now he doesn't even have to land the dive. You could see that just the rubber hand meant that they had to split, couldn't give an auto attack target. Sybil playing the pick very nicely. And there's a reason that it's nearly permanent ban everywhere. Of course, Legacy would have loved the opportunity of taking that one away.
A couple of pro players are very vocal about it on Twitter. The fact that Zach's just so strong right now that previously when he played him, you had to hit your E. If you don't hit your E, he's not going to do anything. Now, if you miss it, oh well. You've got your Q, you've got your R, you're good. Very obnoxious champion to play against. Curious to see who's going to be the first champion aside of Legacy to pick up anti-healing or healing reduction items.
And the other thing is he's not even necessarily all that bad in the early game. I mean, he was arguably pretty bad with his old Q. You could see this game, however, he was willing to invade onto Carbon. So certainly was comfortable in the matchup against one of the most early game centric junglers in the game of Nunu. Has also built up a 20 CS lead.
Jungle at the moment, top side of the map though. Whew, series is incredibly far ahead. Not going to see too much from Tally until he picks up 2 items, I think, now that that's strengthened. Yeah,
potentially even 3. I think he needs to have the Frozen Mallet to be able to make it work as well. Claire, however, did go back and grab himself a Banshees, but let's talk about that later as Carbon may be in some trouble.
That's all your armor gone, Carbon. The Black Cleaver is fully shredded through whatever he had left. Snowball's going to keep him alive, though. Cannon was even running up to make sure he stayed safe, but with the threat of Weaver's Wall and so many people missing on the map, can't pursue anymore.
And I mean, that's all Series really needs to do because all of a sudden Carbon has to go back in. A couple of consumes, he'll be back up to health, but there's no threat in Series overextending now. And you can see that reflected in the map positioning. Telly just uses that time to go back, get a shot in.
Here comes Sybil. Banshee's Veil gets popped, Rubber Hands connects, slams him back in. Good ultimate though from
Great
Claire.
ultimate.
Carbon's going to come in and throw a snowball at Blinky though.
That miasma was so close to blocking that, although now the turret dive is coming.
Weaver's Wall comes out, Carbon going to get absolute zero cancelled, and he gets decimated to kick things off. Kennen though trying to teleport to this turret, has ultimate, locks down Triple. Brom coming in as well, Triple dies to kick things off. Tally trying to get into a better position here to auto attack through. Jake going to get locked down, stunned by the Brom. Double kill picked up by the Snake. Legacy turned that one around.
And actually great positioning out of Tally and Claire in that fight. Tally knew that he had to flash forward. It's not something we like to see out of the AD Kennen, but still tanky enough to make it work, and they'd already used some cooldowns. And then Claire also stuck with the play and was able to pick up 2 very crucial kills. Now is very far ahead of Triple, who's not having the best performance in this mid lane.
Get him, Harold!
Take another look at this. So I think that the initial play was the right call. I think this is an overextension. Sure, Carbon falls down, but he's already done his job. You're stuck between 2 turrets. And then they are able to get a couple of key stuns here. That's a huge Braum ultimate. Actually hit 4 members. So shout out to Cupcake as well. And then hits back-to-back Winter's Bites to slow down the Thresh.
Well, top side of Matt Tally looking for a kill in the series. Forces a flash. But you're right. Those crucial stunts and rotations from Legacy to counter that play from AB.
And that's Tally actually getting a flash against Series when he didn't have his flash available. So Series without dominance doesn't look like he can go up against the Kennen, who also didn't have ulti. So potentially still not doing all that bad. He's still 15 CS up in the lane, although 2 kills are over on the Crocodile.
A big problem right now for AV is Claire in the mid lane on this Cassiopeia. 200 CS, 2 kills already. Has picked up 2 major items as well.
Ooh, and are we going to see an adaptive helm being picked up, or is that just going to be the makings of a Spirit Visage? Because right now Series is sitting on defensive stats. Normally you see double offensive items on every Renekton at the moment.
I mean, there is a Cassiopeia, so adaptive helm will reduce a lot of damage from the Twin Fangs.
And really, Claire has to be the person to carry this game now for Legacy. He is still the only person that's up. Lost is doing completely fine, has a couple assists to his name, but Caitlyn is going to be slightly ahead in gold, and everywhere else is just behind.
So you can see top side of the map, Pally is 600 behind Series. It's the jungle where the big advantage is for AV. 900 gold going in Sybil's favor. Mid lane Claire's about 500 up, and the bottom lane is close to even. It's 100 or 200 in Blinky's favor. Look at this.
See, they're confident.
Looking for a fight. That's a flash snowball as well as ultimate being used there. They do pick up the kill off the screen as Triple is taken down by Lost and Cupcake. So good pick from Legacy.
Great collapse actually coming out from the Legacy lineup there. So able to pick up another kill and burn summoner spells off Triple, which is even more crucial because you can see how far forward Tally wants to play right now. However, still very aware of the fact that Series is coming into his lane like a pest. And Cassio is just one of those champions that scales pretty infinitely. I mean, she has 6 full item slots, doesn't have to pick up boots at all, still gets lots of the benefits apart from the flat penetrations, just through the passive. and is able to continue to get stronger as the game goes on, and has a relatively expensive build, Fish, which we don't talk about a lot. But gold just means more on some champions.
Yep. Right. With that, Legacy have shortened up the gold lead that AV created for themselves, and now about 600 to 800 in their favor. So again, very calm, even game between these two teams. But at this point in time, in the last match, is where Legacy really took over, about the 21, 22-minute mark.
And they still have a ridiculously quick Baron. I mean, if Triple dies again, and they get a couple more crucial summoner spells out, Cassiopeia on Baron. You've got a Blade of the Ruined King user in Lost, especially if Sybil gets caught.
Double Blade user with Tally as well, but here comes Sybil. Good cancel from Cupcake. Weaver's Wall's going to lock them in. They are trapped. Absolute Zero is being channeled by Carbon, but no one from AV is on top of the zone. Legacy fighting with their backs against the wall, literally. But first it's going to be serious against Burnt Up. There goes Sybil, locked down by the Petrifying Glaze, slams two together and bounces them back into the team. AV clean up this team fight. They're going to trade 3 for none.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Claire's caught as well.
Death Sentence locking him down. Claire is dead. Double kill picked up by Sybil. Tally tries to help out his teammate, but he's just the last man standing. Opens up a 3,000 gold lead for AV.
And all of a sudden we were talking about the things that Legacy could do to get back into it, but AV get the team fight they were looking for. Great Weaver's Wall coming across from Triple to start that one off. This should mean Baron will be picked up for the squad. Not the quickest Baron take in the world, but no one's going to be contesting it there.
But still so strange. Absolute Zero from Carbon, not doing anything. Lost not flashing over that wall. And I believe Tally had teleport as well, decided not to use it in that situation. And with Baron picked up, they extend their lead to 4,000 gold.
Yeah, exactly right. So let's take another look at it. Cupcake has to burn the ulti early to get away from Sybil, but I just don't think they expected to be here. Carbon tried to duck around and create a zone for his team to fight in. And at this stage, you feel like they honestly could just start running backwards. Instead, they go forward, and then a huge knock-up coming through from Sybil, slamming people together, taking them back into the team. And you just have to be more aware of where the Zac is at this stage of the game. And unfortunately for Claire, he turned around for some cheeky damage, and that also cost him his life. I mean, they thought they'd done the hard work. They got rid of a lot of the tank threat of the Renekton. But Zac is just able to continually dive back lanes. And, yeah, if they fall down.
Now, if you're Legacy, your question is, how do we stop the bleeding? None at the moment, snowballing ahead of Legacy. 42,000 to about 37,000 gold, 5,000 gold lead for AV, and they still have about 2 minutes of Baron to work with. That Mountain Dragon number 2 picked up by AV. They've now got 2 of those, and turrets are going to be knocked down incredibly quick now. Let's see if they can start knocking on the doors of Legacy's base. They still have all inner turrets left up. It's probably not going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly right. And the problem is that there's just so much dive threat on the Avant lineup. I mean, you can send Sybil back, you can Weaver's Wall people off.
Yeah, cuts off Lost and Cupcake. AV
That's all the waves they're gone.
Cupcake will jump over. Lost is not able to defend this one. Seems like they get a bit of chip damage. That Weaver's Wall doesn't start anything fancy off for AV.
Yeah, no one wanted to approach and really hit the turret. I mean, you would have to say to Blinky that he probably could have got a couple more shots out. Carbon's been hooked, though.
Well, doesn't get hit by the Cupcake traps, but still forces a flash out of the Nunu, who in these situations is quite honestly useless. You can't wave clear, he can just blood boil.
Yep. Blood boils the AD carry. That's what Nunu becomes when he's behind. Not able to march forward aggressively because, as you can see, he just has absolutely no items, especially to deal with Blinky right now, who has gone for rapid fire cannon, by the way.
Picks that item up. Maybe now just going to continue to make sure they control as much of Legacy's jungle as possible. Series will take away red buff. Cupcake and Lost are going to do what they can in the bottom lane. They're up against Baroned up minions though, so it's difficult. They're actually charging on towards Lost in that bottom lane. They don't connect with the Death Centers. Right, here comes Sybil. He's found Tally. Tally's going to get locked down, forced to flash away. Trying to deliver Claire as well as Carbon back. Does so. That's going to mean Petrifying Gaze gets missed by Claire. Ultimate comes out from Kane as well. He's going to flash away late. Tally's going to try and turn this one around. Doesn't get as much damage as he needed to. Sybil still lives, and Triple picks up that kill onto Carbon.
Yeah, exactly right. And all of a sudden, look at all the summoner spells burn. Flash out of Tally. Carbon has nothing. Claire also had to use his flash, although still retains his heal.
Yep.
And now there is no way they defend this turret. AV is going to march into their base.
They're really looking to see if they can tie this one up. 1-1. Legacy lose their mid lane inhibitor turret. Inhibitor is under siege as well. Tally, so we get out of the base here, looking to try and go for some form of defense, but it's just not going to happen. A couple more auto attacks maybe will be enough. Cupcake puts up the shield, trying desperately to stop this one.
Yeah, but they're just going to try
up.
and re-engage. I mean, that's all that you really have to do. They're threatening the whole time. It's not a team fight build coming out of Tally, and he's forced to group up every single time.
And that's exactly what Pinch was saying at the start. If we play around Kennen, we are going to do just fine. That's what they did the entire game. Shut down Tally, make sure he was under pressure. He could never split push in this match. Forced to group up on the Kennen. It just has not paid off for Legacy.
And Tally has to go back and wonder how he had his flash burnt in the laning phase, because you have to remember, he was 20 CS up against a pushing wave, had his flash burnt, and then got ganked because of that and fell down. If that was not the case, still being able to continue a big CS lead would have been crucial for Legacy in this game. However, at the same time, you have to think they're playing against the best squad that AV can possibly draft. They've been able to pick themselves up as Zac. They got the priority on the Renekton pick that they were looking for. So a couple of things had to go right for AV for them to be able to take Legacy this far. Still only 27 minutes. Big gold leads, about 7,500, 8,000 gold. But game's definitely not over just yet.
They're still trying to deal with these super minions in the mid lane. Legacy, they're about 8,000 gold behind Avant Gaming. 5 turrets to none. QSS even picked up by Blinky now. It's going to be even more difficult to lock down Blinky.
I mean, I don't even know if he really needed it, does he? Because everyone's going to be marching forward on his lineup, unless he gets stunned by Cassiopeia somehow, who Blinky outranges by a long way. Certainly not going to be the most useful pickup, but at the same time, if you're this far ahead, doesn't hurt.
Got him.
Well, Triple's just looking at the wall to be able to cut off this turret defense. You can see that every time he walks up, they have to walk back. So not really all that bothered by being tagged up.
This turret is going to break here. Legacy can't do anything to defend it. They don't have enough wave clear. They can't step up to this. And AV have so many threats. You've got the shove back from Talia, hook coming out from Jake, Sybil jumping into the back line.
Yeah, a lot of it's just the turret diving threat that comes out of Zac, and this is a reason we see him banned time and time again. Not only is a super tank that's sitting on 3 huge items at the moment, he's also got the Cell Division passive that just means that he comes back alive and is able to do it all again. It's just a hard game for Legacy to be able to win. But, you know, they've got Varus. He scales incredibly well. They've got themselves a Cassiopeia, who we've already touched on, as well as if Tally ever does get to the latter stage of the game, we know he's a very good split pusher. They just have to play it flawlessly. No more mistakes out of Legacy, otherwise AV run away with it.
Yep. AV are going to try and set up for another Baron here, which goes up in 35 seconds. Traps being placed down early by Caitlyn to block off one choke point.
Oh, the Wit's End is being picked up, although now Cupcake, you're dead.
Yeah, he's caught out, instantly deleted. Blinky gets that kill. Legacy looked like they wanted to try and find an engage of themselves. You see Cupcake hand on his head. He knew he should not have been there.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, that's just sloppy. Tally potentially looking to see if he could chunk out Sybil further. Unfortunately, someone's going to have to go bottom to deal with Series. And you're most likely not going to face check that, although does hit.
Looking for the fight against Zac. Dark Passage gets him back to safety. And this is another reason why Thresh is such a popular pick at the moment.
I mean, if the Miasma was slightly deeper fish, just slightly, that would have been a couple of extra movements that Zac had been able to make to be able to get himself back off there. Maybe it's a kill of the jungler and they stop this position. But at the same time, Weaver's Wall comes across. They are going to start up the Baron.
Ooh. Cheeky Baron from Avant Gaming.
Does fall down. And the members of Legacy are approaching.
They will be able to pick up the Baron nice and easy. Legacy looked like they wanted to approach for it, but no Cupcake there in time. Means Baron buff picked up by AV, as well as a 10,000 gold lead just 30 minutes into this match.
Yeah, and with super creeps in the mid lane, there's no way they can even really push in here. Instead, they're going to have to go bottom. They're going to have to go top, deal with the big side waves, and try and accumulate some gold so they can mount a last stand. They're still farming relatively well as a squad.
They are.
But just looks like team fighting, especially with Kennen. AD Kennen is not going to be an easy task.
No, it's not. Maybe you're going to pick up another Mountain Dragon. So these base turrets are going to be taken out so quickly. With 3 of these dragons picked up. Next dragon will be an Elder Dragon if they can take it to that stage, but doesn't look hopeful for Legacy. They're up against a comp that sieges so well, and they've got no way to counter that siege. That series, what looked like a disaster at the start for him, has turned this one completely back around with the help of his teammates. They're not going to try and engage on towards the Crocodile. Hook that goes wide. One more attack will
Oh,
stun
he's in
him.
some trouble here.
Lots of trouble. Locked down. Dead. Instantly picked up by Legacy. Now they can possibly look for a fight. No flanking wards. They were covered. Flashing over the wall for another big old snowball. Everyone's going in, but Carmen's in a lot of trouble. He's going to get taken down next. Cupcake falls with him. Double kill picked up. Tally flashing forward. They've locked down Thresh, but that's just a support, and Claire can't find a good ultimate for himself. He's going to take a lot of damage from the ultimate coming out from Caitlyn as well. And Triple builds a wall, looking to shove them all back into it. Claire's trying to dodge, gets hit by the death sentence, pulled over the rocky ground. And Triple just chucks stone after stone after stone into Tally forward for 3 more. Double kill picked up, and Lost retreats with his head between his legs. They can't find a snake in their boot as AV are looking for the win.
They certainly are. Great team fight out of AV. Carbon went a little bit too aggressive. They thought that with the initial pick they could grab it, but AV, they turn it around, they pick up the 4 kills, and they look to pick up the game.
They're going to tend this one to game number 3 against Legacy. AV may have dropped game 1 and questioned their position top of the ladder here, but they're going to send Legacy to game 3. Let's see if Legacy can turn this one around, if they have all their bans, or if AV are going to try and pick up the reverse sweep.
And I mean, that's really the story of the game, is that now we know that AV with the perfect team comp are good enough to take it to Legacy.
Yep.
But at the same time, you definitely didn't think that Legacy had a bad draft. I mean, they certainly would have loved to have taken away the Zac, but everything else probably would have got through. Maybe, you know, it's just difficult to be able to judge that game on its merits when Legacy did lose 3 of their bans. But still, you have to give credit to the victors, and you have to think that AV, if they get another good draft, if somehow they can force some more power picks, there is a chance that they're able to take this best of 3 all of a sudden.
And again, the tactics from Pinch, he said in an interview that they need to target the cannon. They did just that as a team and worked so well.
Yeah, and I really want to see what happened with that flash, because Tally was so far ahead in that laning phase, had a big wave stacking up, and somehow against the creep wave, had to burn his flash and had to go recall. So I think that that was kind of the turning point of top lane. If Tally had been able to keep that pressure applied, would have been different. But at the end of the day, credit to Series, because he managed to do the impossible. 20 CS down, just turn the tide of that top lane.
Yeah, he did just sat him with that Avant Gaming, were able to pick up quite a decisive victory against the Legacy after about 32 minutes. But for now, let's send it back to the analyst desk to break down that game.
Thanks, guys. Well, there we have it. AV tying up the series 1-1 against Legacy, and all they needed to do it was the perfect draft. Jish, is that the difference between the first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they got a little bit lucky with the draft, and they got the Zorn Amorphous Combatant, or as he's known, Zac. Yeah, I think that, obviously the draft went in favor of Avant because of those bans, but I think that Legacy really did themselves a disservice with the way they picked 2.
Yeah, I mean, we can dig deep into that as we go forward, but you were saying before, just briefly, that it's because Legacy picked a draft that did not allow them to do anything in the game.
Yeah, I kind of actually got, I was confused. I was like, so what, what lane are they going to play to? Who are they going to play around? Where is their avenue for success? And it was like they had, a top laner that just wants to scale into the game, and you don't really want to gank it. You just want to let them get 2 items or something.
Yeah.
Then a mid laner who's going to play passive. They have a jungler who can't actually gank for lanes, and they had a Varus ultimate down bot lane post 6. So it felt really hard for them to actually dent anywhere on the map. And then when you flip the coin, it's Renekton's really easy to help ganks and dives for. Talia can move across the entire map. Zac can gank from anywhere, and their bot lane with Thresh, there was just too many options for AV, and obviously it paid off for them.
Do you think slotting in something like Elise would have alleviated a lot of their problems? Because to me, when I see them pick Nunu when Elise is up, I know you touched on it as the strongest jungler aside from Zac, and I really agree there. But it feels like just letting it through was a huge mistake, because it does really just sort of bring that power that they needed. Like you said, Varus ult is the only thing they have. Other than that, what do they gank? How do they gank? And Nunu doesn't even win the counter gank game. If he arrives there when Zac does, I feel like Zac still does more than Nunu, so it just seems like a really wasted pick.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that if you're Legacy, though, you see AV take an early lead game 1, and they didn't do anything with it, so you think maybe we can give up an early lead this game as well and then come back. Is that at all their process? No?
I mean, even in the first game, they had the Jarvan, so they still had their go button for when they wanted to turn it on, and they sort of lacked that this game. I think that, as you said, I think the Elise would have been a way better answer. I sort of criticized AV a bit. I was like, oh, why are you not banning the Elise? Like, that's the better trade around. And then when Legacy didn't take it, obviously AV knows something I don't. It made very little sense, I think, yeah.
I feel like calling Lucio Big Brain when Pinch just outdrafts him this badly might be a disservice to AV at this point.
No, Big Brain is not the biggest brain.
Yes, Legacy didn't have bans, but AV seemed to like circumvent some of these strong power picks that we assume Legacy pick up, because I'm going to go ahead and assume here, and I could be extremely wrong, AV knew that Carbon didn't play Elise. That's the only reason that I can think
No,
of.
we've seen Carbon play Elise before. He's
Then why not ban it?
Carbon was a nutty Elise at least a year ago.
It makes no sense to me for them to not ban it and then it not get picked. Like they obviously had some sort of read.
He's on that Nunu hype train.
That is not a train.
All right, let's take a look at this first replay, shall we? AV taking an early lead, Jish, but overextension leads them to get punished. I want to take a look at this 18 minutes into the game. Mid lane.
This is the proactivity I was talking about. They can Weaver's wall behind the turret sort of thing and look for like these big long ranging dives. What happens is they miss some of those crucial skill shots, and then Tallywhacker's ultimate, the W from Claire, and then just the Braum ultimate. It makes too much of like a hard terrain to fight through. And when they miss their crucial engage options, it really gave like a breath of life back into the Legacy team. They got to go farm 3 waves and shove them back out, and they're really playing for that 2-3 item spike if they don't have like a massive deficit. So that was a really good sign for them. And I think had they have done that maybe two more times or something and sort of held like the gold leap to a smaller buffer, they would have been able to take the game probably mid to late. But yeah, I mean, AV just completely outclassed them like the next engage.
It also felt like the target they were like chaos diving there in Nunu just isn't the right one to do it to, because they blow a lot of their abilities on him, and then Cassiopeia is just freely hitting them, just chasing them down. So it's not only like, yes, they can go that deep, but why do it on Nunu, who is, like I was saying before, he felt like he was useless most of the game. Like, it just seems like Zach's better than him in every case of the way. So why?
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure they dived the Cassio who flashed out, and they're like, oh, okay, Nunu's here. Yeah, next option, I guess.
It still just seems. It seemed like a risk they didn't need to take, but it's obviously I have the benefit of hindsight and complete map vision.
Yeah,
so
complete map vision, hindsight.
Yeah, it's a bit nitpicky here, but
the comfort of your ivory tower here at the analyst desk. Well, after that, T-Gun, let's take a look at this second replay, shall we? Legacy, I mean, AV taking a good engage, leading them to take 2 kills and Baron on this one.
Yeah, and if I was going to show you why Zach is great, this is pretty much it. His first engage gets pretty much stopped. His next engage with his Q gets stopped, and then they just keep walking at him. There's a big thing to say in Legacy, sort of not dodging crucial things and missing their own things. They're getting hooked and whatnot. But Zach just goes back again. He gets stunned. He doesn't care. Knocks 2 of them together, brings 2 of them back in as well. He's just so useful constantly. We were talking about how Nunu is obnoxious. This man, this rubber Superman, dives into the back line, and it's just ridiculous. And then after this, they take Baron, and it pretty much... I felt like the game was almost over at that point, but they did have a little bit of struggle closing it out. But that was, to me, just the most crucial point of the game for them, where they just run them down constantly. And all I was thinking the whole time was, could Legacy have tried to cut their losses there? Could they have bailed at any point? And I don't think they could have. I think they were just dead from the get-go.
I mean, yeah, the Talia ult really kept them into that fight. So even when Sybil missed his like first, second, and third engage attempts, it was like, well, it didn't really matter. And then, yeah, as you said, there was like a crucial crucial like ult from Cassio that needed to be hit. And then I think
he did hit the Zach. He did hit the Zach.
I think he needs to hit more than one person. And then, yeah, there's like another good thresh hook from onto, I want to say Lost or something? Yeah. So
onto anyone.
Yeah, okay.
Can I ask this is I'm hypothetically drafting in game 3.
You are.
Now, right?
I can't wait to hear this.
No, I'm just, okay. If you're AV, right? If there are 3 OPs up, right? Zach, Galio, Elise, for example, do you not ban them when you're going into game 3 then? Because if you leave up Zach, that's a free ban for Legacy to then take because they want to take it away.
That's assuming Legacy's not going to ban any of them themselves.
Yeah,
so
but if they take 1, then you take the other one.
Well, if they ban 2 of them and there's only 1 up,
but then you can use that in your 3rd ban. But my point is, you leave
yeah,
that for your 3rd. Yeah,
he just discovers drafting 101.
Yeah,
there are definitely lots of different options they could take, and maybe AB be like, oh yeah, let's just like leave it all open. I would say it's unlikely. Most teams have practiced around perma-banning those things on red side. You know, if you want to go for it, AV, like. I'm happy to see it. This will make game 3 interesting, but I think King is just.
Let's take a look at some stats then. Let's take a look at some stats in the jungle then. This is Carbon and Carbon and Sybil, how they match up, and
obviously, yeah, correct gold this time around, and Sybil looking much better than Carbon in that last game.
Yeah, the stats are sort of, like, I guess, inverse from game one. Obviously, we saw Carbon having a way better performance. And, you know, this is the more true representation of Nunu, I think. No damage, bad KDA. No, I think like, that's just being, like, it's super critical. But, no, obviously, Sybil had a really good performance, and he knows Zach very well. He takes all these ganks from really, really acute angles and, like, unsuspecting spots where, like, you just know they won't have vision. And he sets his team up really well to carry. So we saw that in the top lane initial dive onto... Ooh, more damage again. No, yeah, like Zach, Sybil knows Zach really well. And he really did set up his team, both his solo laners and even Blinky on Caitlyn, I think, who, you know, stepped away from the Ashe. I was really happy to see.
Well, no, it was banned away from him.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
was it? Oh, yeah, second rotation. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, well.
But,
maybe
you know, it worked
stick
out
to
well.
Caitlyn, Blinky.
Yeah, Caitlyn was great. Stick to Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Tegan, what do you want to see out of AV going to Game 3, given that they are unlikely to be able to get Zach this time?
It's hard to really say. That we have to take that game as an outlier because they're not going to get Zach ever again.
Sure.
I don't think any team's going to let it go through. So you sort of have to refocus. Think about what you struggled with Game 1. Think about how you have to come back from Game 1 because that's generally what's going to happen here. It's basically going to be a reset and a rehash of that game. I assume Legacy probably going to go for roughly the same strategy, and AV can't just pick Zach and literally not care about what Legacy
But the thing
pick.
is, Game 1, if we go back to it, they took an early lead. They were just unable to convert because Sybil was playing kind of over-aggressive, as Swan was saying on the desk after that first game. So when we go into Game 3 then, if he doesn't get Zach, presumably he tries to get an early lead and then, you know, just tries to play safer.
Yeah, I think the Graves is not really an early-centric jungler. Like, you kind of want to farm, and he did get the early lead and he just threw it away. I think if he's going back maybe towards the Lee Sin, possibly the Kha'Zix or something, where he can, like, play an early skirmishing jungler, maybe that's an opportunity for him to be aggressive early. But otherwise, I agree. I mean, I think I said it would be a 2-0, and I think the Legacy sort of, outside of that middle game, they'll come back and clean that up.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Carbon goes to Nunu again? I mean, obviously
I
you're a
hope
fan.
not. I hope not.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, probably. He's smiling now. He can hear me. He's like, yeah, I'm picking Nunu again.
I would rather not see it. It seemed really just useless that game when it got behind. Sure, Game 1 it seemed useful when he was sort of keeping pace, but I would honestly prefer Ivan. I don't even know if you're a big fan of Ivan. I think you're not. But if he's gonna play,
that facial expression he gave was a negative one. Yes.
I'm gonna say if he's gonna play a supportive jungler, I would honestly prefer Ivan over Nunu, especially if you're gonna go back to playing and protect the ADC comp.
What's
if you're gonna play
because it's more heals and things, or
yeah,
Daisy, or what's your?
Well,
what's your
given the way Cupcake plays with building weird items that aren't exactly support items, you pick Ivan and you just build all the support items anyway. Cupcake can then build things like Knight's Vow really, really early, or you can even pivot that and go to Cupcake and put him on Zyra or some sort of aggressive support, which might not be the greatest on 7-11 because of Doran's shield, but they still have that option, and Ivan opens them up to it instead of sort of, I don't know how to say it without being really rude, but playing very one-dimensionally.
Right. Well, okay. Before the game, then, we did talk a lot about the potential carry threat AV had in Triple. Before we get into Game 3, just quickly, Jish, what's your assessment of Triple's game so far?
Yeah, I think definitely Game 2 he sort of highlighted what I was trying to suggest, is that he made like a lot of cross-map plays. He set up that early turret play, and then the fantastic engage that Tegon went through, he pulled with the wall. So yeah, really good performance out of him. Huge amounts of damage, and I think that
he was top damage that game, I think.
Anytime you out damage a Cassiopeia in a team fighting game, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I think he played really well. I guess it's going to depend on where they allocate the counter pick in terms of, obviously, they can save the counter pick now. If Triple gets a good matchup, I'd love to see him go off again. Maybe Legacy are too scared to give him that Talia pick again, but I guess we see.
All right. Well, I believe that is our analysis of Game 2 all wrapped up. So before we get into Game 3, let's take a look at some highlights from that game we just saw.
First few auto attacks. Carbon's going to smite from, get some health back, consume as well. The Ignite is ticking. Death Sentence is blocked by Cupcake though. Sybil flashes forward, slams them together and picks up first blood. Weaver's Wall comes out. Carbon going to get absolute zero cancelled and he gets decimated to kick things off. Kennen though trying to teleport to this turret. Has ultimate, locks down Triple. Brom coming in as well. Triple dies to kick things off. Tally trying to get into a better position here to auto attack through. Jake going to get locked down, stunned. by the Rom. Double kill picked up by the Snake. Is a Tally as well, but here comes Silver. Good cancel from Cupcake. We just want to lock them in. They are trapped. Absolute Zero is being channeled by Carbon, but no one from AV is on top of the zone. Legacy fighting with their backs against the wall, literally. But first it's going to be serious against Burnt Up. There goes Sybil, locked down by the Petrifying Glaze, slams two together and bounces them back into the team. AV clean up this team fight. They're going to trade 3 for none.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Claire's caught as well.
Death Center's locking him down. Claire is dead. Double kill picked up by Sybil. Tally tries to help out his teammate, but he's just the last man standing. Here comes Sybil. He's found Tally. Tally's going to get locked down, forced to flash away. Trying to deliver Claire as well as Carbon back. Does so. That's going to mean Petrifying Gaze gets missed by Claire. Ultimate comes out from Kane as well. He's going to flash away late. Tally's going to try and turn this one around. Doesn't get as much damage as he needed to. Sybil still lives, and Dribble picks up that kill onto Carbon. Carbon flashing over the wall for another big old snowball. Everyone's going in, but Carbon's in a lot of trouble. He's going to get taken out next. Cupcake falls with him. Double kill picked up. Tally flashing forward. They've locked down Thresh, but that's just the support, and Claire can't find a good ultimate for himself. Going to take a lot of damage from the ultimate coming out from Caitlyn as well, and Dribble builds a wall, looking to shove them all back into it. Claire's trying to dodge, gets hit by the Death Sentence, pulled over the rocky ground, and Dribble just chucks stone after stone after stone into Tally forward for 3 more. Double kill picked up, and Lost retreats with his head between his legs. They can't find a snake in their boot as AV are looking for the win. They're going to tend this one to game number 3 against Legacy. AV may have dropped game 1 and questioned their position top of the ladder here, but they're going to send Legacy to game 3. Let's see if Legacy can turn this one around, if they have all their bans, or if AV are going to try and pick up the reverse sweep.